though, like really solid builds that can be adapted in most situations. So when I take games off players just because they haven't seen my build before, I don't really consider that like a really good win.
Mm.
Although I think by 3 games, Bomber had enough time to respond. I don't know why he wasn't dropping more. I don't know what the rationale was behind that. But
That was the majority of feedback I was getting from my
yeah,
personal friends and things. He just didn't harass you enough.
yeah.
He wasn't enough of a dick, basically, to you. In terms of kind of tournament organization and things like that, do you think there's something that tournament organizers could do to make it easier for the gamers, to make it easier for the competitors to either get there, apart aside from just straight up paying for your everything, something reasonable they could do that would encourage a boom, I guess, in people playing?
Like something that a company could do to encourage people to start playing
Yeah,
professionally?
something that the people with the money could do to bring more new people in.
I mean, I don't know. I think that people who want to play the game a lot already play the game a lot. I
Mm,
mean, I think it's hard to get new people in unless you sort of offer a lot of money, like
yeah.
money that the esports scene cannot offer right now. So, I mean, I think right now, I think the opportunities exist for people who want to start playing professionally to get into it.
The opportunities to actually get into pro leagues or just to compete somewhere.
Either one. I think there are a lot of pro leagues and stuff open where a lot of people can play. I mean, Zeke hosts a lot of tournaments that are like Diamond and Masters only and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that the opportunities exist out there. If you're driven, I think you can get on a team or something, or as some part of an organization.
And in terms of your lifestyle that stemmed, entirely from gaming, what's apart from just being able to play your game that you love all the time, what's the best part of being a professional gamer?
Probably not having a boss. I think I
That is a
usually
good
found
answer,
myself at
actually.
odds sometimes with bosses in the past just because they're really stupid or something like that. But not owing myself to anyone is really nice. Like I kind of make my own schedule, and it seems like I'm responsible for my own paycheck. I don't have to rely on some idiot scheduling me incorrectly or giving me really shitty jobs or anything like that. I think that's probably my favorite aspect. Hopefully, if this ever dies out or StarCraft 2 is not popular or I start to suck at the game or something, hopefully I can find a career elsewhere that allows me to work for myself too. It's definitely the greatest thing. I don't know if a lot
Would
of
you
people
start your
know.
own business in esports, possibly?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because that to me, for someone who's as big as a personality and someone who interfaces with other people who are on the same level as him quite well, it would seem that starting your own business in the thing that you know so well would be a great idea. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. That'd be a really big decision.
Yeah. Plus, it's scary. I mean, the NASL was on tenterhooks when it first started off. I mean, the chat room was just full of hate.
Yeah.
What's the biggest drawback to your lifestyle? The biggest drawback
Um,
to your
if you're not
career
somebody,
choice?
if you're not somebody who can dedicate themselves to something, then it would suck after a while. Like a lot of people ask me sometimes, like, do you think that what do you do if you get bored or something like that? And I mean, if you're not the kind of person like if you play this game for like 3 hours a day and then you get really good and you're like, oh well, I'm gonna go professional, and then you start playing for 10 hours a day, like it's a lot different. I mean, I'm the kind of person who doesn't get bored of something unless I'm completely and totally dominating it, which I don't think will ever happen with this game, or at least
No.
won't happen for a very long time.
It won't
So
happen for
I
anyone
have
on
no,
this game.
yeah, I have no problem sinking many, many hours into it.
As long as you're on an even playing field. So if it ever did get to a situation where you were doing so well it just didn't feel like a challenge, would you feel less inclined to play?
Maybe, but I'm sure that if I ever got that good, the money and everything I'd be making would be motivation enough to continue playing.
Rolling in money.
Yeah.
So, in terms of people improving their skills over time and things like that, do you think coaching is a good way for people to progress their skills, progressing outside of just mass laddering on your own?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
So, do you think that coaching, being part of communities and things like that, is a good way for people to progress aside from just laddering on their own? Do you think it's really? Do you think it's helpful,
Oh,
basically?
I think that I mean I don't know. It depends on the kind of person you are. Me personally, I would never pay for coaching ever. I'm just not the kind of person who gets coached. Even my friends, like sometimes I'll listen to other people in terms of getting tips or feedback on my play. But
Mm.
I think coaching is good for if you're ever at a point where you feel stuck or you feel hopelessly overwhelmed. Like if you're at a point like if you're sub platinum or whatever and you're stuck in games, you're like, oh my god, like I know I should be injecting better and spreading creep better and spreading overlords better and getting my
Oh, hey,
tech
it's me.
faster and scouting better. But then you're like, but I don't know what to work on. Like there's so much. Like anytime you feel overwhelmed or like you're just feeling like I don't even know what to do. Like I just keep losing all my games and I have no idea where to go and I don't know why I keep losing. Like anytime you start to feel like that, I think turning to coaching um, can be a good solution to your problems.
Ah, okay. It's interesting that you said never pay for coaching because I'm part of the whole reason that I'm even playing StarCraft now is because of the community I joined, which offers free coaching to kind of everyone,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. I mean, that sort of community is really helpful. I think. I'm just interested to see if you think that just the fact of the community setting, just that on its own can kind of push people to be better than they would be on their own.
Yeah, it's possible too.
Okay, and completely going off topic here because I can't think of a good transition. Is there any predictions that you have for the multiplayer for Heart of the Swarm? Because not many people are speaking about it, and it seems kind of. I mean, what do you think Blizzard should do?
I think they should leave it alone. I think the multiplayer should remain untouched, and they should continue to go from where they are right now, balancing things. I don't want to see a whole bunch of new units added every single time an expansion comes out, just for the sake of adding new units. I think it'll turn into kind of a clusterfuck, but I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel. I guess we'll see what happens.
The things they've said mostly aren't actually about adding new units. They said they're thinking about adding units, tweaking units, but maybe taking some away. I mean,
Yeah,
what units do you think they'd remove?
I don't know. Maybe the Overseer or the Hydralisk. I'm
The
not sure.
Why?
I don't know. The spells are kind of funny. It's expensive. I don't know. I don't know. I just think I'm just bullshitting off the top of my head. Maybe the Ultralisk give us like a useful unit. I don't know.
Okay, and if you removed it, what would you remove? Or would you just literally just leave everything the way it is now and try to make the small changes?
That's a really hard question. I don't know.
Oh, of course, the hard questions are the best.
Yeah, we could speak for hours on balance stuff.
Well, okay, I mean, a dramatic change, just one. You can only do one, so we don't spend forever talking about it.
I think the best change I could think of right now would probably be higher Overlord base speed. Something to help Zerg scout in the early game a little bit better would be my first thought.
Yeah, that has been quite a big complaint from pretty much everyone across the board, especially in the higher levels, especially against Terran as well.
Yeah, definitely.
How are things going as well with the whole kid who was attacking your whole network?
We're good now. I'm all proxied and everything.
That was definitely one of the most interesting things that's happened in esport. Well, not in esports, in the community of esports for quite a while.
Yeah,
that whole situation was relatively insane.
Yeah, he's a pretty big piece of shit, but everything is fine. I'm all proxied.
Oh dear, yeah, he was a bit. I don't know. It was quite strange.
Yeah. Definitely, pretty annoying.
Do you think that because of the way you're open to pretty much all the community? I mean, I had no trouble finding you, and you are also part of a community that is generally quite stigmatized by the community at large, by the world. Do you think, does it affect you daily, your profession? Does it make anything difficult that would just be kind of standard for most people?
No, it makes everything a lot easier, actually. It's really hard sometimes to speak to people about stuff like this because most people who are involved in this stuff haven't actually been out, like, living on their own yet. So, I mean, as somebody who has worked a full-time job and taking care of a family and all that, like, I can tell you, like, this stuff is way easier. Like, when it comes to, like, going to the bank or running errands or whatever, like, I can make my own schedule. You know, I don't have to, like, usually, like, things like even, like, mailing stuff at a post office.
That's a lot of responsibility, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is.
Huge.
It is. But being able to make your own schedule is really nice for everything, for any area of your life, for having to do anything. Being able to make your own schedule is nice. So I don't think it makes anything harder, to be honest.
That's actually a really nice answer. I was worried it would affect you kind of negatively and it would affect people in your community quite negatively, but it's nice to hear positive things about working in an industry that's generally quite stigmatized by the public.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it helps that I also don't go out much. I just play games all day. Maybe if I went out more, I could find people that hate me, you know, so.
Dear. I mean, okay, so how often do you go out in a week?
Not very often. I could give you an actual answer, but it'd be quite pathetic. I mean, it really depends. Maybe it depends on who's in town. If there's a friend in town, I might go out a few times a week to eat or whatever, but otherwise I just stay home and play video games.
Sounds like fun. Jealousy. Okay, so my last question is your advice for people who are just bordering on that pro level, but really honestly cannot break into it, are just hitting this brick wall. I mean, is there some way they can really get themselves out there apart from being?
Yeah, they need to practice better. When you're at that barely point, it just means that the games that you're playing aren't good training games. If you're barely there, you just need to sit down and like really honestly start to practice, you know, and really focus on improving. And I think anybody should be able to break into it.
Okay, so what do you reckon's the kind of main problems that lower people make, especially as Zerg? The main big things that you see newbies kind of getting wrong and not realizing they're doing it.
Below platinum, your problem, I'm going to tell you right now, below platinum, your problem is that, so if you're below platinum, this is a free lesson, okay? The problem is that
Well,
you're
hey.
not injecting well enough, and you're not spending your money well enough. You're not managing your economy well enough. If you can keep 2 hatcheries constantly producing units, then you will be in platinum or higher. If you are able to keep 2 hatcheries constantly producing units, like by injecting and all that stuff, it doesn't even matter what units you make, and it doesn't even matter the timing on your buildings, you will not be in platinum. If you're not in platinum, it means you're not doing those things well enough. You need to do them better.
Okay, well, I think that's absolutely everything I had to ask you, and honestly, thanks for talking to me immediately after waking up. It's actually, it's nice. It's nice to get feedback from someone as deep in the community as you are.
Sure.
Ninja!
Sorry, the
That's
cat's
right.
in the back. It's kind of going crazy here.
Is that cats? Okay. All right. Well, thanks, man. I'm gonna have to say goodbye now for this interview.
Yeah, no
this
problem.
Thanks very much. This has been Sonny Williams recording an interview for Mixed Fruit Gaming Community. Go to www.mixedfruit.org if you want some free coaching, like Destiny says. It might help you out. Who knows? Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.